but a realtor or mortgage lender could look at you and say, this is not feasible right now. Now, either of us will provide you with strategies so that you can get to that point, but it's important for you to first look at what I just mentioned. It's no secret that if you've been considering moving to Denver, wanting to rent in Denver, wanting to buy in Denver, okay, you're curious about Denver, that both the housing and rental markets have exploded in the past few years. So I'm sure you've asked this question, is it better to rent or buy a home right now? Well, let's try and figure that out together. This is Life on the Front Range. Let's get started. Hey, hope you're doing well. My name is Ethan, and as a realtor, I speak with individuals every day who are planning on making moves into the Boulder and Denver, Colorado areas. Now, if you fit into this category from now until forever, my information is pinned below. Schedule a time to talk with me, and let's see where you are in this process and how I can best help moving forward. But for now, let's get back into the video. So before we even start talking about the current situation in Denver, we have to address your financial situation and current timeline. So whether you're renting or currently in a home, take a look at what your monthly payment is. For renters, it's rent. For homeowners, it's the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And determine whether or not that's a comfortable amount for you. If you have been or are just starting out as a renter, but you're interested in owning your own home one day, check out my renter to home buyer tips video here. It provides some very important strategies you can use right now to work towards buying your first home. But assessing your finances is what you need to do first before anything else. Are you paying too much in rent? Do you have enough money saved up for a down payment? What's your credit score? What's your total debt to income ratio? Check the description below for a link to read more about that. It's very important. And then ask yourself, what's your timeline? Are you comfortable where you are for the next 3 months, 6 months, a year? Truth be told, if your finances aren't where you want them to be, that's totally okay. But creating a plan to get you to where you want to be is an essential first step. The reason being, you could want to buy a home, but a realtor or mortgage lender could look at you and say, this is not feasible right now. Now, either of us will provide you with strategies so that you can get to that point, but it's important for you to first look at what I just mentioned. Now that you've gotten a bit more information on your finances and timeline, we can look at the current market. I'll be honest with you, Denver is expensive. It's not San Francisco or New York City expensive, but if you're a renter or first-time home buyer, there may be a little bit of adjusting needed to move forward. Right now, the current median home price in Denver sits at around $610,000 for a single family home. Now, if you're looking at townhomes and condos, which can be a great option for first-time home buyers, it's around $410,000. Now, the median rent in Denver for a one-bedroom sits at around $1.8K a month, but $2.4K for a two-bed. I'll say this now, but also later. If you're currently living in a studio/one-bedroom apartment, paying under $2K a month in rent, and it's comfortable for you, unless you have a sizable down payment or an income that could start supporting a larger monthly payment on a mortgage, it may be the best option to just continue renting. Biggest reason being the current interest rates. Here's an example. So let's take a look at the total monthly payment of owning a home at $410,000. Mind you, the median home price in Denver is $610,000, but there are homes on the market in the 400s. If you're unfamiliar with these calculations, check out my video on renting versus buying. I lay out all the differences here and what actually makes up your monthly payments. So assuming a 20% down payment, at the current rates, your total expected payment, averaging property taxes and insurance here, looks at around $2.6K a month. Now, mind you, the first year's principal comes out to around $280 a month. So that's money going into your home. Now that's close to that $2.4K a month rent. But I will say the con here is that the down payment required is $82,000 to hit that 20%. That may not be feasible for some. So with that being said, it's no surprise here, Denver's housing market and rental market, honestly, are expensive. Now combine this with high interest rates at the moment, and a lot of people are being pushed out of buying in the current market. But I'd argue the best reasons to buy right now in Denver are that you can afford it. Sounds comical to say out loud, but if the monthly payments don't faze you and you can afford it, then all the more reason to get into real estate and start building that long-term wealth. Number two would be out of necessity. Sometimes a big life change forces you to move, rather than moving out of convenience. These are context context specific, but in these cases, instead of trying to find the perfect time with the perfect home and the perfect rate and the perfect price, it may just be better to find a home you can live in. And like I mentioned before, start building that long-term wealth. And then the third reason is your rent is just shy of or equal to that expected monthly payment. Now, to get a specific on here, you'd have to talk with a realtor and a lender. And it may be more difficult for first-time home buyers to see the reason why, but if your rent is sitting just at around what you would be paying should you own a home, it's a better option to get into real estate. The reason being, rent is expected to continue increasing over the next 5 years, which means that you could renew your lease, but don't necessarily be surprised if your rent goes up in the next contract. Whereas if you bought a home, that monthly payment is fixed, ignoring the option of refinancing down the road for a lower rate and a lower monthly payment. There's a lot more pieces here that need to be said, but check out that renting versus buying video because there's a lot more information there that you can find useful. Now, I know I just argued the best reasons to buy, but honestly, for some, this isn't a viable option now. So let's look at some of the best reasons to rent. The first would be a short timeline. If you're not staying in Denver for long, either for personal or business reasons, it's not necessarily vital that you own a home. Renting does provide you with that flexibility, that you're not necessarily stuck in one spot and have an expensive asset to deal with, the home, when it's time for you to move. Number two would be not a lot of savings. This is a reality for a lot of people, and it's understandable. Not everyone's sitting on a gold mine at all times. That down payment of $82,000 we were talking about earlier, that can be a hefty sum for anybody to put down all at one time. Now, I will cheat here for a second because I always say the best long-term strategy is to own a home. So I'd advise if you have to continue renting, start saving up that money for a down payment so that you can get into a home, wherever that is, and start building that long-term wealth. Your future self will thank you. And then the third reason is your rent is cheap. I know I outlined some of the median rents here in Denver, but maybe you're in a fantastic spot and rent is super affordable. If it is, congratulations. The more money you can save, the better. But again, I'd argue it's a great short-term strategy, not the best long-term. I'd argue you'd want to start saving that money so that you can eventually get into a home. So depending on where you are right now, it can really go either way regarding whether buying a home or renting is the better option. You have to do what's right for you right now. But if you're in the market right now on finding a new place to rent or finding a new home, my information is pinned below. Reach out to me, let's schedule a time to chat and see where you are in this process and how I can best help you moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting me know if there was anything about this video you agreed with or disagreed with. I look forward to your comments. This is Life on the Front Range. I'll see you in the next video.